Okay, here we go. Gemini, I love you guys. Your current energy. And also, excuse me for the glare. I'm still trying to get used to working with the camera angles. Okay, so it seems like you guys are kind of frustrated with the status quo. Here you've got a girl who's definitely not poor. Look how she's kind of finely dressed. She's got 3 chalices in front of her, one of them which is, pretty big. She's just not happy with what she's got anymore. What this usually indicates is that there is a feeling of, too much of a good thing isn't really good anymore. Maybe you're bored. You need a little bit more excitement. Maybe you're, kind of feeling like you've been in this rat race for a while and you're ready to get off. Okay, so that's the current energy for Gemini for the month of June. Let's see what else we have going on here for you guys. All right, here, helpful energies, which is really great because I feel like that really balances out what we've got in your current energy card. Here we've got the 10 of Chalices. This is always a beautiful card. In the original Rider-Waite deck, it's the 10 of Cups. So here we've got, the family. They've got the little girl. You can see that everything is right in their world. They're emotionally fulfilled. Everybody is taken care of. It's just a beautiful family scene that everything is where it should be. There are no worries in the world. And it's just a great sense of peace and happiness in your heart. So even though your energy for June seems like you're kind of a little bit bored, there is helpful energy in that there's love and family supporting you, okay? Now, the root of your situation as to why you might feel that way. Okay, so that's right. This is kind of like what I was saying about like the rat race. So this is the 7 of Pentacles. And here we have a guy who he's already created, right, these 6 pentacles here. And he might be a little bit frustrated with having to make the same, the same mold, the same cast of these. It's very monotonous. It's very routine. And he looks just very bored. While he's really good at it, right, and he's making a quality product, and I'm sure he's able to support himself, I feel like there's not a lot of joy in it, right? So this is the root of why you're feeling that kind of boredom or unhappiness with the way things are, is you've been working in this environment. You've been working with these energies for quite some time, and you're just not content. All right. And the Pentacles is the sign of Earth. I'm sorry, that's the element of Earth. So the Pentacles, can represent money, income, property, your career, and finances. Okay. The immediate past, the Lovers, and the Green Witch Tarot, it's the Lady and the Lord. So this is your immediate past. And what this represents is having to have made a choice, right? So whatever choice that you made in the past that was recent, it's still got lingering effects on your present day energy now. So maybe you chose one job, maybe you chose to leave a job, whatever the circumstances were. Whenever you're watching this video, I would say that it was probably within several weeks to like a month or two prior when you had to make this choice. Okay. Now, this next card is your crowning thoughts. And what this represents is everything that's going on in your brain, right? That you're contemplating, thinking about. Here we go. The 7 of Athames. So this card is the same as the 7 of Swords. And what this represents is a certain defensiveness, a kind of cunningness. Sometimes it can represent deceit, right? So I want to say with maybe your current situation where you're feeling very unhappy, maybe you're trying to come up and be, sly and figure out how you can work around the current situation. What this card can also represent is a feeling of having to defend your home, of having to be on guard, because you see how close to his house that this guy is. He's got his food here that he's got for his family. There's his wife. This is his home. And yet he's looking behind him as if he can't let his guard down, right? So that could also be something that some of you guys are feeling. Maybe you're in a job where people are trying to get you fired. Maybe you've been in a job where people have gotten you fired. And so you kind of feel like, even though things have kind of calmed down, you really can't let your guard down, right? And again, this is a general reading. So if it doesn't apply to you, just let it be. All right, your immediate future, the Moon card. I love this card. In your immediate future, what this could represent is you needing to embrace that feminine energy of receptivity, creativity, using your intuition, using your gut, right? You see this big pool here, the pond, that can represent your intuition, any psychic ability that you have. And here you see the woman is walking in that direction, right? The moon lights up things that are otherwise obscured. So maybe there's things that in your gut that something's not sitting right with you, but you've kind of been ignoring it, or maybe you're just not paying attention to it. Maybe you're just around certain people at work, and maybe you just don't like them for some reason. You don't know why, because they're perfectly nice, right? But there's just something there about the whole scenario that just doesn't sit well with you. So what this is saying is, in your immediate future, rely on your gut, right? Embrace that feminine energy, which we all have, male or female. Embrace that energy of, being more in tune with your intuition, right? Allowing it to flow through you and help you guide some of your decisions. Okay. And this next card is your attitudes about the whole situation. Now, I know some people sometimes are like, my attitude, that's pretty obvious. I know what my own attitude is. Why do I need to know that in a tarot reading? But sometimes it's not what you think. Sometimes this card reflects something that's your attitude on a more subconscious level. And why we need to be aware of what's going on, or what our attitudes are, is because that's what we're projecting out into the world, right? So as far as the law of attraction goes, you want to be aware of what kind of energy you're putting out in there, because maybe you're smiling and saying, yeah, I like this or I like that, but this card will represent what your emotions are truly putting out into the universe, what your attitude is. Okay? Oh, this is a great card. So here we have the Knight of Chalices. And again, I'm sorry for the glare. In the Rider-Waite Tarot, this is the Knight of Cups. So here we have a young man who is going forth, full of optimism, ready to receive. And that's really good, because I feel like that's kind of you're starting to understand, or maybe you get those inklings that, maybe you are worthy of receiving. Maybe you're worthy of accepting what great things the universe has to give to you. Okay? So your attitude is that you're worthy of receiving, and you're holding your cup out for the universe to give you, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Because until you recognize that you're worthy of receiving, that things can be good, having that optimistic outlook, things will be withheld from you. Okay. So now the energies that are surrounding you, this card represents the energies of people that are close to you, not necessarily your energy, but this could be friends, loved ones, children, spouses, parents, even coworkers. If you see them, very, very frequently, say you spend a lot of time with them, or it's a very close working environment. So this is the energy that is around you. The Page of Pentacles, this is really good. So here we have this young boy who is practicing his magic, right? He is putting out into the world what he knows. It's taking that thought, the idea, the ambition, the passion, and making it physically manifested into the real world. And now, even though he is a younger boy, and this represents a younger energy, what matters is that the energies around you are of people, I think, that are supporting you. You have the dog here, which just represents loyalty. If anybody has a dog that's watching this video, I love dogs, right? It's just, there's nothing but good, love, joy, loyalty from our pets. So there are loyal people around you. You might have to use that intuition and figure out which ones they are. I'm sure you already do, but you're surrounded by people who support you, who are loyal to you. And here you have an energy of people that are probably able to help you put what's in your brain out into the universe, out into the world. They support you and want to help you manifest whatever it is that you need to do, that you want to do for you. It's a great card. That's a really great card to have, because it means that the energies around you are positive as opposed to having something more, nefarious. Okay, this card is the energy of things that you need to pay attention to. Hidden energies, things that you're not aware of. 8 of Wands. So this is very much about communication, news. So maybe because this is the card of something that you need to pay attention to, maybe there have been signs coming to you. Maybe there's been news coming to you. Now, this could be coming to you from dreams, right? It could be your intuition. It could be like signs out in the world that you see, synchronicity, right? Those are all ways of the universe communicating with you. It could also be a friend saying something or encouraging you to go do this. It could be a song on the radio. It could be something you read in the news, right? These are all ways of communication. But I really feel like, I feel like it's, maybe there's synchronicity. There's signs that you should be paying attention to. There's so much nature in this card, right? There's so much flowers and trees, and she's just so at one with her environment. I just really feel like as you're walking down the street, you should pay attention to your environment, pay attention to what's going on around you. You might start to see things that will, click or mean something to you. Okay. And then the overall outcome for the month of June, Gemini. Oh, the 5 of Pentacles. So there is a feeling of lack. Okay, so here, the good news, Gemini, is what I do like about this card is you see this poor little girl who is probably freezing in the snow. She's all alone, right? Except for this cute little gecko that wants to get her attention. But she is feeling a sense of lack only because she's just like sitting there refusing to look around the world, refusing to look at what's right in front of her. Oh, okay, well, not literally right in front of her, but what's near her. 2 things. Look how close she is to that fire. Look how close she is to warmth, right? To life, to what would keep her alive for another day. If she would just turn her view, change her perception, she would see how close she is, and she would be able to just walk right down there and keep warm. Also, if she were to just shift her gaze upwards, shift her gaze to the heavens, to God, Spirit, our Creator, right? She would notice the abundance right over her. But all she needs to do is just look up, turn her eyes to the heavens, and she would see how much she has so close to her. And this kind of goes in line with what I was just saying about about signs. Is you see this little gecko, it's almost like he's trying to get her to look at him. He's almost trying to beckon her. And it's like, if she would just take notice of this little guy, I'm sure he would scamper up here, and just following him, she would notice these pentacles right above her head, right? So the overall outcome for the month of June, Gemini, is a feeling of lack. Fortunately, it's a perception of lack. It's not true lack. It's just the way you feel. And I know because I personally have had this card show up for me in numerous readings. And every time it did, I kind of just stop, I took a deep breath, and I kind of just did one of those exercises about gratitude. And it really made me help see things in a different light. Okay? All right. So that's the month of June. There's a few more cards I have over here off to the side that I usually read as like advice. And they look pretty good. I'm going to hold them all up for you like this, or maybe I'll do them one at a time. Maybe one at a time is easier. So it's kind of advice. So here we've got the Three of Athames, right? And it's interesting because this represents an agonizing decision. And what she's doing here is she's kind of like, do I have to go into this house, right? This is her home. She's probably lived here for a long time, but it's starting to, crumble. It's a little bit dilapidated. And she's probably wondering, should I stay here, try and patch it up as best as I can, or do I just leave and find something better that suits me now, right? And no one really knows what's best for her except for her. Is she capable of fixing this house? Or does she know of another location where she could go to that would better suit her needs? Maybe when she first moved into this house, it suited her and it was just what she needed, right? But she might have outgrown it, or maybe, she's tired of living in this, crusty old house, right? So this represents you having to make a decision again, an agonizing decision, something coming up for you in June, right? And it's interesting because in your immediate past, you also were at a place where you had to make a choice. So one thing I want to say, since this is kind of like a recurring theme for you right now, is that there's no such things as failure. That's also perception, right? It's all opportunities for us to learn. Spirit gives us an opportunity to make a choice. And if it's not the choice that's in our best interest, that opportunity will always come back around for us to give or to make again, right? The situations, the circumstances, the opportunities, like the specifics might be different, right? However, the underlying theme is always going to be the same. And Spirit is never going to give up on us. No matter how many times we make the same decisions that are not in our best interest, no matter what, we will always get an opportunity, right, to have those decisions placed in front of us again until we make the right one. So don't look at this as a bad thing. Look at it as an opportunity to make a good choice for yourself, no matter how scary or frustrating it can be. The next card is the Standing Stone. Okay, this is the Justice card in the Rider-Waite Tarot. This is a really great card because when this shows up, it usually kind of makes you think, what have you been putting out into the universe? And if you've been putting out good, you can expect to receive good. If you've been putting out negativity, you can expect to receive negativity. But I don't think that's the case here. I don't get that feeling. And thinking about the two Geminis that I love most in this world, I'm pretty sure that's not the case with you guys either. So this is saying that I'm sorry. Can you see that? There you go. So this is saying that the scales are going to be balanced, right? Take a look at where this big standing stone is. It's kind of anybody that's wanted to get to this place of justice, of balance, has had to come through this wood, this dark forest to get here, right? But the path was lighted. The path here comes through that dark forest, but the sun was kind of guiding you the whole way, right? And now here you are in this clearing, where people used to gather and, councils would gather and sit on the stones and listen to the stories and then make their decisions. Here is this, wise council area for them to sit and make decisions. And the sun is shining on justice. The sun is shining through the dark forest. So this could be your dark forest, having to get there, making the right decision. Or maybe you've been going through some really rough times, right? But here you've arrived to a place of good karma coming back at you. And the King of Chalices. To kind of further cement that, this is a businessman who is very successful. Like, look how in your face this card is. I mean, let me just show you for an example. You see how small she is relative to the card? And look how big he is. He takes up the majority of the card. This is to kind of show you what kind of a presence he has. He is generous because here we have him, sharing this delicious banquet with you. He is confident and a good, happy person and generous. And he wants to share what he has. And that could be resources, money, knowledge. But this is a businessman. And I feel like this person could be coming into your life, or this person could be you. Now, normally I read the court cards as energies, but for this one, I feel like this is a person coming into your life, not so much an energy. Keep your eyes out, pay attention for this person, a businessman, because this could prove to be a very valuable asset, both in friendships, networking, and, helping you overall. Okay. And then the card that I pulled that is kind of, when I do the spread, it's like this. So the one that's kind of holding them all up is the Three of Pentacles. And it is essentially this guy here has sort of finished his training. And here we have his mentor, his supervisor, congratulating him on a job well done and handing him his very own lyre or harp, right? With all of nature kind of watching the ceremony. So it's essentially a pat on the back for whatever it is that you've been working on. This could be internal struggles. This could be, maybe you were studying for an exam, for example, like your real estate license, or you were, trying to further your education, to further your career. Maybe you were doing some sort of like seminar or workshops, to enhance what you can give to people. Well, this is saying that you've done a good job. You've essentially graduated, if you will. And here we have, I kind of take this to mean like your spirit guides are congratulating you on a job well done. They're proud of the work that you've been doing, and they want you to know that. So Gemini, I think that's a beautiful card. I really think that's just such a wonderful, beautiful message. And I hope you guys know that I really do believe this is your spirit guides working through this reading, telling you that you've been doing a great job, and to not worry, don't fear. Everything is going to work out the way it should. Okay?